Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, How to Use Social Media to Dominate Page 1 on Google. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DEALERUN. And for anyone who isn't familiar with DEALERUN, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, best known for our search engine optimization, best-in-class customer service, and our award-winning websites. DEALERUN was named the top-rated website provider by driving sales in 2012 and 2013, and DEALERUN customers were winners of the Spring and Fall 2012 Digital Dealer Website Excellence Awards, including the highly coveted overall winner. And recently at NADA, DEALERUN also received the Best in Show Award for website design from Dealer Marketing Magazine. DEALERUN is so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that we're the only company in the industry to offer a money-back lead guarantee program. So does your website company guarantee you leads? Well, then maybe you should check us out at DEALERUN.com. And we have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have Kate Frost as our presenter today. Kate Frost is the president of Kate Frost, Inc., which helps their dealership clients to improve their lead handling processes and digital marketing. Kate has an extensive background in automotive advertising and brings a unique insight into the automotive digital marketing realm. From online advertising and branding to engaging social media and website enhancement, Kate helps establish and maintain dealerships' digital presence. With well over a decade invested in the automotive industry, she's collaborated with numerous OEMs, dealer groups, and single-store operations both through in-store, outside sales, and most recently in a digital media consulting capacity. Kate is an avid traveler, and she can be reached at katefrostinc.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, don't worry, we're going to respond by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of the webinar recording is also going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. DEALERUN is going to be at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Orlando. So if you're going to be there, well, then you got to come visit us at booth 407. The Digital Dealer Conference and Expo is quite simply a great conference. It always is. It's May 7, 8, and 9 at the Rosen Shingle Creek. I'm going to be there. I got to tell you, I'd love to meet you. So please come over, visit us, and while you're there, check out the speaking sessions from some members of the DEALERUN executive team. Oh, I have some big news for you, too. We're also going to be broadcasting live from the Digital Dealer Convention in Orlando on Thursday, May 9th. That's right. Just because it's a Thursday doesn't mean we're not having a webinar. More details are going to be coming to you soon. But if you can't make it out to Orlando, then I hope to see you all on our webinar on May 9th. It's going to be a big one. Also, Kate Frost is also going to be at the Digital Dealer Convention and Expo. She's going to be speaking about the important steps needed to build a successful internet department that's going to maximize ROI. So, give your internet department everything it needs to succeed. If you're going to be at the DDC, well, you can't miss Kate's awesome presentation. I hope we see you there. And guess what? Our good friends at Kate Frost, Inc. are giving one lucky attendee a great prize for their dealership today. A professional redesign of all their social media channels. I know, cool, totally cool, right? This incredible service is going to include a custom YouTube and Twitter background, a Google Plus cover photo, a Facebook cover photo, and one HTML landing page on Facebook. And yeah, that can include video. This prize is valued at $500. All you have to do is stay tuned for details after Kate's presentation, and you could be walking away with this totally cool prize today. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey. Please fill it out because we're always looking for great feedback from our audience. And today we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all the completed surveys to win some Google prizes. So let's get started. Let's learn how to use social media to dominate page 1 on Google. Kate Frost, it has taken me 9 long months to get you on my webinar program. I am so glad this day has finally come. How are you?
So am I. I'm doing great, and thank you so much for having me on the show today. I really appreciate it. It was nothing personal, and I'm delighted to be here.
Well, thank you for being here. And I got to tell you, you picked an excellent, excellent topic. We have a lot of people who registered, lots of people on the live broadcast today, and they all want to know about this whole social media thing. I guess it's just not a fad anymore, huh? Businesses have to use social media, and they can also use it to improve their SEO. So why don't you tell us all what we're going to be learning about today?
That sounds great. Well, I am. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm really excited to talk to everyone about something that I'm so passionate about, which is social media. So I hope everybody walks away today and shares my excitement about it and sees really what it can do for their store. So over the next hour, what we're really going to be covering are some of the most important frequency and content factors that will affect your dealership's social media. Just as important, I think, as learning what to do is learning what not to do. And so we're going to take a look at some of the mistakes that others have made so that we know which areas we need to be avoiding. And then probably the question that I get asked the most is, how do I sell cars from social media? That's always a big question, and the answer is that you can certainly do that, and I'm going to give you a few ideas of how you can capture leads and sell those cars. At the end of everything, we are going to have a question and answer session. So if you have any questions, please hang on to those or submit them throughout so that Eliana can address them. And even through the next hour, we're going to be asking you some questions as well. So I hope that you'll participate and answer those. So without further ado, I think that we're really at a place now where SEO and social have become inseparable. While social media will never generate as many leads as your DealerUn website will, it's still such an important part of your digital strategy that you really need to embrace it, learn what you can, because it will provide so much visibility for your store and help you dominate that first page. I always find the answer to my question on the second page of Google. Said no person ever. And I think that's true, right? If any of you have said that, I guess we're kind of lucky that you're all muted so that you can't fess up to it. But I think you would really have to be desperate to click on that second page to go looking for the answer. What most people do is they're going to just rewrite what their Google search was in the first place. And so I think I'd really like to kick off the webinar with one of those poll questions and flip it back over to you guys. So Eliana, do you have that?
I do. Okay, audience, let's start off with this poll question. I want you to look on your screen and answer this question for us. When you do a Google search of your dealership name, how many social media sites get first page placement? Now, I don't normally tell people to leave our webinar, but if you need to, this might be a good exercise for you. You might want to just close the screen just for a little bit, go onto Google, type in your dealership name, and see what actually shows up. And Kate, tell me if I'm wrong here, but we're actually looking for social media sites that they have control over, correct?
Yes, so this could include, everything from Google+, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube.
Your blog, right?
Blog, yep.
Right. So stuff that you have control over, not something that someone else opened and you don't have the password to and you never update it, not that. Stuff you have control over. So when you find out that answer, come back over. Emily wrote in, does that include review sites?
I think that review sites are important, and I'm going to touch on that, but yeah, you can go ahead and include those.
Okay, but ones you have control over. So
yep, Edmunds, Cars.com.
Right.
Of course, Google reviews will.
Not like Merchant Circle or something that you don't, do anything with. Okay, so once you have your answer, does our own Facebook count? Yeah, do you take care of it? I mean, see, here's the thing. Some dealerships have a Facebook page that somebody else opened, and then that person doesn't work there anymore, so they don't do anything with that one, so they open up a different one, so you can't count the one that no one uses. You have to count the one that the dealership is actively involved in. Got it? Hope that helps, James. Okay, so once you have your answer, put it in. We have these following answers for you to select from. None, 1, 2, 3 or 4, or 5 or more, which means you are in rock star status. Right, Kate?
Yes, absolutely. We'll open up the line to them, and they can help me with the webinar.
Okay, well, I don't quite have a majority. Oh, more votes are coming in. I don't have a majority of the votes in just yet. So remind me again, Kate. It's Google Plus page, Twitter, Facebook.
Yep, YouTube, Pinterest, their blog, if it's a review site that they've been managing and driving leads to.
Okay, got it. So what we're really looking for is the social media sites, right? Social. So you might be one of those lucky dealerships that has a lot of other listings, a lot of other web presences. Like you might have a bunch of different landing pages which show up, which is totally cool, but we're really interested in the social media and seeing how much social media you're putting to use for your dealership. And thank you for writing in. I appreciate the votes of the write-ins, but if you can, I'd love for you to actually vote online. I do appreciate it, though. And
we're not as good at math.
well, I can't add it in, but you know what? Now that we have a majority of the votes, and thank you so much for taking part in this little exercise. I have more if I don't put a space in the name. Okay, that's interesting. He says he has more if he changes his face. That's weird.
That is.
Because Kate, this is Nick, who wrote in earlier. So he's at Beach Automotive. So if he does Beach space Automotive, he gets a different result than if he puts in Beach Automotive. Isn't that funny?
We'll have to look at that, Nick. But you know, I guess you can vote for the one where you look like the biggest rock star. So if you get more on one, let's count that.
There you go, Nick. There you go. Okay, so now, and Nick said sweet, and Michael wrote in that his Facebook isn't showing up. That's pretty weird.
We'll try to give you some tips on that so that it will.
Huh. Okay, so let's close this poll and see what all of you on the webinar have going on right now. Okay, so 31% of today's audience says that none of their social media sites are getting first page placement when they search their dealership name on Google. 31%. A third of our audience. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, 19% said 1, 17% said 2, a quarter of our audience, 24%, said 3 or 4, and we have 9% of today's audience are in rockstar status with 5 or more social media sites getting first page placement. What do you think about that, Kate?
Kudos to you guys. And I guess a follow-up question that you can think to yourself or answer to yourself would be, you know, of those pages that are showing up, are you happy that they're showing up? Are they branding your site well, or do you really wish that they would kind of move to page 2 because they're not being maintained? But so that's something to think about, and certainly something that we're going to touch on. But really what we're ultimately looking to do is dominate the first page, right? So here's a search that we did for Daytona Hyundai, and you can just see the importance of social media and then also those review sites, because you see their website and their reviews. Facebook comes in second. They've got their blog, cars.com reviews, YouTube, Twitter, and Edmunds. And so we know that as a consumer, again, who's going to page 2 to look for your competitor? These people are dominating the first page, they own it, and chances are if you did a search for them, you're going to end up on their site, or certainly a way to get there. This is a graphic that maybe you guys have seen. I've used it for years. I think it's hilarious. It really is social media explained. And I think what it really illustrates is how many different platforms are out there. And I know that it's one of those things that can be overwhelming and you can get a little lost in, but what I really want to focus on today are going to be some of the biggies, which are Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and I threw in Pinterest because it's something that's so new. People have a lot of questions on it. I don't know if they really understand the applications it can have on their business account, and so I'm going to give you a bit more information about that and hopefully provide some thought starters for you on how to set up a Pinterest account if you haven't already, or how to better utilize the one that's existing. So just getting started with really what I call the 800-pound gorilla is Facebook, right? It's important not only to have the Facebook page, but then to get it found. As one of you had just mentioned, you don't even have Facebook on your first page. And that can be frustrating because we know how long it takes to put some of that effort in there and to do those status updates and think of the engaging content and all of those things that go with it. But what I want to provide you with are just some tips that will help your search engine optimization for Facebook. And that starts with your username. And what I mean by username is what that URL looks like. So ideally, this would be facebook.com/your dealership name. It used to be that Facebook was very particular about what that name was, and once you set it, you couldn't change it. It was written in stone. They've gotten a lot better with that, and you actually are able to change that. So if you inherited a Facebook account from a past internet director or vendor and you're not happy with all of the dashes that are in there or whatever it is, then you can go ahead and go into your settings and switch that name around. The next thing would be keywords, of course. So include some pertinent keywords in the description and mission of your Facebook page, and include links back to your website. When I talk about links, I'm always going to be referring to a complete link, which would include the HTTP. So you want to make sure that not only is it filled out on your description page, but then showing on the home page as well. So this isn't really the area that you want to necessarily highlight the 35 years that you've been in business, but think more in terms of what are some of the keywords that you're buying through search engine marketing that people are typing in, so that will help you get found as well. Frequency. Just like all social media, this is about freshness and frequency. It all comes with a date and time stamp. We can't hide from it. We know it's been a week since we did a status post, but really what you want to do is aim for, in my opinion, at least one post a day. The next thing that we want to do is we want to have links, and these links can be included in those status updates we just talked about. These links can go to your website, to your blog, to your microsites, to your newsletters, really any of your digital real estate that's out there, so that we have those reciprocal links that are going in and out. And then engagement. And this isn't just engagement on your Facebook page, meaning your fans like the post or have shared it or are writing comments. It's also engagement on other relevant pages. You know, search engine optimization is no longer just a game of stuffing your content with keywords. It really is about engagement and building communities. So you want to check out fan pages of thought leaders in your community, or pages where your target audience may frequent, and be opportunistic. You know, link to those, post on them, and try to drive some of that traffic back to your site. So once we have our page set up and we're getting some of that good Google juice going and it can be found, what do we find when we get there? I've protected the innocent here and, you know, blocked out the name, but you can see that this is obviously not the way you want your Facebook page to look, right? We're missing a cover photo, which is probably some of the best real estate on there. Our profile picture, which is showing up in the news feed, is blurry and hard to read. And even though they have almost 2,000 fans, these pages down here where it says likes, map, inventory, Facebook has given us the ability to add custom pages here through HTML, through numerous apps that are available, and I would encourage you guys to look at those and really think about those almost as landing pages or microsites within Facebook. And so as an example of one that is doing well, and you're going to see me reference Toyota of Plano throughout my presentation, partly because they're paying me, not really, but because I think you need to see a dealership who's really got a holistic approach, that they're doing the right things across everything. There's not just this, you know, redheaded stepchild of Twitter that's been forgotten about, but they're really focused on all of their social media. So here you can see they've done a great job with their cover photo, right? We've got their beautiful dealership. We've got a clear image of their brand and their logo. And down below, we've actually added in some of those custom pages. You can see that that drop down where it has that arrow is actually 11. So we've got a lot of pages set up. And then I would also encourage you guys to check out these categories. It used to be that we could only have one category, but I think that Facebook has taken a page almost out of the old Google Places where you can have multiple categories. So I would encourage you to maximize all of those. You know, car dealership, car parts and accessories, if you have a collision center, if you offer rentals, you want to include those in there. And the last thing that I'll say about that, again, one of the things that they had was, and you saw it at the bottom of the screen, was that facebook.com/Toyota of Plano. When we're talking about those cover photos, and I had mentioned that, you know, in my mind, it's the most important piece of real estate on there, almost like those slides that are on the homepage of your website. These can be used to drive traffic. This is a group that does a great job on Facebook, and it's All Star Automotive. They're in Baton Rouge. You can see they've got over 16,000 likes on their page. But they're using their cover photo to drive action. They've got the Get Pre-Approved in Seconds and an arrow that's pointing down to obviously a custom tab that they've created where you could do that credit application. And so if you click on that tab, what you're going to see is really this landing page that gives you a little bit more information. I love the fact that they've put on there, you know, we've already pre-approved over 3,800 customers for a new vehicle, and then they've got a link that clicks over to, they're using DealerCentric as their credit application. So all within Facebook, they've never left Facebook, they're able to fill out a credit application and try to get pre-approved. And when we talk about how do I capture leads off of Facebook, this is such a great example of it, because here we are looking at the back end of DealerCentric's tool where you're actually able to see the URL that drove that credit application. And the list was so long that I was only really able to capture a portion of it. You can see that I've highlighted those. But really what you need to know is that just last month they captured over 160 credit applications just off of Facebook. And in my mind, I've always said a credit application is one of the very best leads you can get, right? If a customer is willing to give you their social security number, they're probably in the market for a car. And so to get 160 or more credit applications off of Facebook is really strong. Now, of course, that didn't just come from having a cover photo. Part of that was some of the Facebook advertising they did in conjunction with that, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. But just keeping in mind some of the possibilities that you can be using Facebook for. Another idea for you is a way to get reviews. Probably a lot of you have DealerRater, or maybe you're on Digital Airstrike, and they give you a way to show reviews that you've already received, which is fantastic. But why don't we think of it in another way, since online reputation management is so important and we're always trying to capture good reviews, is asking for some reviews. The very nature of these people on Facebook, they're called fans, right? So they like you. Fans like you. So what better place to ask people for a review than from your fans? So we've got a tab here for reviews, and when you click on that, this is a great place to put customer testimonials if you have them as a video. All of those pictures that you guys take at the time of delivery of smiling, happy customers, great place to put those. And then at the bottom, you can have links right to some of those websites that you want to drive your reviews. So if that's Yelp, if that's Google, Cars.com, DealerRater, you can have HTML links that dump them right into your listing so that they're able to write a review for you. Another way to use Facebook is really to reinforce some of your traditional advertising. Here, St. Augustine Toyota is spending tens of thousands of dollars on, TV and radio to promote this negative equity protection that they have. And if somebody did a search on Google for St. Augustine Toyota and Facebook shows up and somebody clicks on it, it's great to reinforce that advertising that might have generated that Google search in the first place, right? So we can come here, we see it right in the cover photo, we see a tab for negative equity, and when we click on it, we have a video explaining what negative equity protection is, and then we have links that we can get back to the dealership's website so they can shop new, shop used, value your trade. This is all that really good Google juice, right? We're deep linking them back into your website. And we had touched on earlier when I was talking about leads and Facebook advertising that this is such an important and often missed opportunity for dealerships. There's a lot of ways to advertise on Facebook now, but where they started was through the traditional Facebook advertising, which is what I'm going to touch on today. But the reason that I love Facebook advertising and have run hundreds of campaigns is because it's so inexpensive to do and it's so highly targeted. I mean, Facebook gives you a way to communicate with your customers in such a targeted audience. So we can do searches that are specific to a zip code, to a city, to your sex, to your age, all the demographic information down to your level of education, whether or not you're married, and even your interests. And so that gives you such power when you're talking about who you want to present your message to. And this is just a screenshot of my news feed, and the area that I've highlighted here is these sponsored ads. That's where you would see them. And these have done such a great job of targeting the audience because, number one, I love Bloomingdale's, so I'm very interested in their big brown sale. But I'm also a marketer, right? So I'm interested in marketing information. And knowing that, what we did, again with Toyota of Plano and last month, is we set up a Facebook ad campaign. And Gulf States Toyota was running, their big campaign was on Truck Month. And so we knew that there were some great incentives on trucks, and we wanted to target truck drivers. So what we did is we went into the Facebook ad tool and we targeted people who live within a 25-mile radius of the dealership, that were 25 and older, so hopefully they had a little bit of money, who were male, and people who had already said that they liked the Tacoma, the Tundra, hunting, fishing, and even boating. So these are people who have already raised their hand and said, those are things I'm interested in. And then we wanted to touch on people who weren't already connected to Toyota of Plano. So knowing that we had this audience of almost 36,000 people, we went ahead and we created our ads. And these are what the ads would display and looked like. And you can see that they're pretty generic. I mean, they've got pictures of the Toyota trucks. We're talking about saving thousands on your next truck. When somebody clicked on one of those ads, when one of those 36,000 people clicked on the ad, what they were taken to, again, was a Facebook landing page, which of course had the Gulf States Toyota branding at the top, where we're talking about $7,700 on the Tundra, $1,500 cash back on the Tacoma. We had embedded from their YouTube channel their commercial that they were running, and then we had links where somebody could shop for their Tacoma or the Tundra right from there. And I think the results were really compelling. What you can see here is that we reached almost a little over 93,000 people. That's how many people saw the ad. 222 actions were taken, and those can be in the form of clicks, that they liked the page. But the 173 clicks, that's actually how you're paying for these ads. It's done just like Google, where it's a cost per click, but I'm sure none of you have seen a cost per click of 87 cents in a very long time. So overall, the whole campaign to get all of those results was $150. In addition to this, they received like 155 new fans. So these are people that they're able to continually talk to really on a daily basis. So even if they're not in the market for that truck now, clearly they saw something that they were interested in and wanted to keep those lines of communication open. So if you're not doing any Facebook advertising, I would certainly encourage you to do so. Again, there's 2 other types of Facebook ads that you can do. Promoted posts would be one, and then they've just announced their target audience where you can actually upload your customer database, your email address, and it'll match those. But if you're looking to reach, a new audience and to have something that's highly targeted, I would really encourage you to take a look at those Facebook ad campaigns. For as little as $100, you can have some really great results that not only brand your store, but grow your fan base, and then ultimately generate some leads for you, which is, I know, what you really care about. So,
hey, Kate, we have a lot of really great questions coming in from the audience, but specifically about that last slide, Rocky wrote in, he was wondering how many sales did they wind up getting from that campaign. Is that the kind of information that you would have?
That's probably something that could be tracked internally. I think one of the things that is missing from this landing page and that we've done in the past is rather than link right to their inventory, because essentially those clicks would lead to a Tundra, and then probably they've filled out a form off of the vehicle description page. So I don't know that Facebook gets that type of credit. But what I will tell you is we've set these pages up before where it actually has a lead form directly on this page, and cars have certainly been sold off of it. One of the things I mentioned that you can actually target are employers. So if you have a fleet department or any specials that are out there with hospitals or teachers, to really go after that audience and talk about those special promotions, have a link or a lead form where somebody can fill that out. We did that for Atlanta Toyota and targeted Chick-fil-A employers or employees, and they received on a $100 budget, I think 11 leads, and definitely sold 1 car. I think they had another one working last I heard, but I think the only way to fully know how many cars you're selling off of it would be to kind of bypass the inventory that takes you to the website and then put a direct lead form within this HTML page.
I mean, certainly the argument could be made. By the way, Rocky wrote in, thanks. And Rocky, great question. Thank you so much for that. The argument could certainly be made. Well, you literally only have to sell 1 car out of that campaign to make up for the $150 that they spent. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
More than make up for that, right?
Or an oil change, depending on your brand.
Are we going to another poll question?
Yes, we are. If that's a good time for you guys and there aren't any other questions right now.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay, audience, I need you to look at your screen and check out this next question from Kate. She wants to know, do you currently handle your social media efforts in-house? Please select one of the following answers. Yes, we handle it in-house and we are killing it. Yes, we handle it in-house, but hey, we could always use some help. No, we outsource it to a vendor. No, we outsource it to a friend or relative. Friends and relatives do that.
Oh, yeah.
Or what's social media? I'm only here because Kate begged me to be.
That's going to be the majority.
I think some people are going to vote for that.
Mm-hmm. They could.
And you know what? We should have, if we had the option to add another one, we have some people writing in. He says, yes, we handle it in-house, but very poorly. So for that one, I'd probably say yes, we handle it, but we could use some help. So give a chance. But I appreciate that. And one of our longtime listeners, Joey, he wrote in to tell Rocky to look into multi-channel funnels in Google Analytics. So Rocky, hope that helps you out. Thank you, Joey, for that little bit of information. I love it when our people help other people's. It's always a good thing.
Absolutely. And you can also see probably on most websites, certainly on DealerUn, referring traffic, and you can see just how many clicks you're getting from Facebook and Twitter and some of your other social media channels.
My goodness, I'm having a conversation here. Rocky wrote back in already on it. Thanks, Joey.
Nice.
Maybe you two should get together for coffee or something. I don't know. Okay, and we also, by the way, Kate, just want you to know, had a couple people write in and actually more than a couple who wrote in and they said, we handle it here, but we have our ad agency help. We have one for here,
Sure.
but we have also vendors who help. So there's apparently some people at some dealerships who are doing both. They do some,
We
and they
have a
have some
hybrid.
outside
Yeah.
people who help. Yeah. So you know what? A lot of you people have voted, and we thank you so much for getting involved. We're going to close this poll, share the results, and see what's going on in your worlds. So overwhelmingly, 65% of today's amazing audience said yes, we handle it in-house, but we could always use some help. 14% said yes, we handle it in-house, and they're killing it. 15% said no, we outsource it to a vendor. No one said that they have a friend or relative doing it. That's good news. And 6% of today's audience said, what's social media? I'm only here because Kate begged me. So, you toasters out there, we thank you anyway for your vote.
Great, absolutely. Well, and I think that, you know, just it's something that I live and breathe, I'm doing on a daily basis, and it's constantly changing. So I understand the struggle that everybody feels who's trying to manage it in-house, stay on top of it, you know, also update their website, sell cars, respond to customers, attend meetings, talk with vendors. It's a lot on your plate, and so I congratulate you on taking the hour out of your day to sit through a webinar to hopefully learn something that you can take away and improve your social media performance with. So the next thing that I want to talk about is YouTube. I think that YouTube is actually the one channel that dealers struggle with the most because they don't have content, video content aside from their commercials. And really, the commercial is not what people are looking for when they go to YouTube. You know, gone are the days where we need a flipped video camera and all of that. We have smartphones. We hold them in our hand. We have video capabilities. So if you're not on YouTube and consistent with it, I would encourage you to do so. We know that it's the second largest search engine out there and that you definitely want to have a presence. So beyond just getting your video found on YouTube, how do we get it found on Google? And again, we're going to be looking at those usernames. So I know that it can be confusing because now you need that Gmail address maybe to open it up, and I've seen a lot of dealers who have their YouTube channel is named after their internet manager. Again, what we're looking for is really youtube.com/your dealership name. Titles. These are the titles of your videos. This is very important, probably the most important. We want to be descriptive with these. We want to actually even use the word video in the title. Many people often explicitly use the word video when they're doing a search. We don't want to make the title too long. Google truncates these page titles around 66 characters. And so you really want to make sure that it's keyword rich in the beginning. And then these titles should change so that you can conquest areas and other products. Hopefully when you go to your YouTube channel, it doesn't say the same thing over and over because you're really missing out on some good Google juice there. The next thing would be the descriptions of the video. Once you have that great title in there, you want to make sure that these descriptions are clear and specific. If it is a walk around of that a salesperson has done, let's include the salesperson's name in the video so they get credit for that. Let's also include your website. Make sure to type it out fully and include that HTTP. The first 27 characters approximately are the ones that are displayed with search results. So if you include a clickable website, it'll certainly contribute to your overall SEO. I don't know how many videos I've seen where the commercial has been uploaded to YouTube and then the description is February commercial. That's really not doing a whole lot for you guys. So you can go in and actually edit those. Once you have that description in there, then we want to talk about tags. And these are the keywords that you think your users would use to do a search for your video. You don't want to be misleading in these tags. If it's a video on a Camry, you don't want to have one of the tags be Nissan Altima because misleading tags could result in your video actually being disabled. And then last but not least, we really want to make sure that we're selecting a category, and in almost all cases, that category is going to be automotive. So with YouTube, I was in there last week. Speaking of that, it's ever-changing. I went into Plano's account, and sure enough, they changed the formatting. Thank you, YouTube. So it used to be that you would have a background there. Now they've changed it so that it's a little bit more of a cover photo element. You've probably seen that the overall layout has changed so much too. You can now add in all of your different social media icons so that you have those reciprocal links, which is fantastic. Your hero video should certainly be something that describes your dealership, and then again, you know, you can see here that they've got the title tag in there and that we've got a clickable URL. So, and then at the bottom, of course, they've got the youtube.com/their name. So there's consistency across all of their platforms. And then next, Twitter. I think that Twitter is one of those social medias that you either love it or you don't understand it. And if it's that you don't understand it, I would encourage you to learn a little bit more. You can reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with it a bit, but Twitter is certainly something that I'm seeing a lot of dealers get first page placement with. And so while the username is going to be very important, there is a character limit. And so you want to be mindful when you're choosing that name. Sometimes this is where you actually do have to do an abbreviation of your name, so be thoughtful as you're creating it. Again, you're going to want to optimize your Twitter bio and communicate main keywords. You can even include hashtags during this, this bio. And then these 42 characters. Be mindful of the first 42 characters because these are what's included in your tweet's title tag. It's extremely important for SEO, and that the title tag gets a lot of extra exposure on the Twitter pages. So add your most important keywords to the front of your tweets when you can. And then, you know, have these links within your tweets to relevant and high quality places on your website, on your blog, on your newsletter, or really any other digital real estate that you're trying to promote. And in terms of freshness and frequency, this is different than Facebook in that Facebook you really want to not be overexposed, post a ton of stuff in one day, but with Twitter you can kind of do that. Repetition is good, and having lots of tweets in a day is very good. So definitely if you're using Hootsuite or a scheduling service, plan on having multiple tweets in a day. There were a lot of bad or don'ts on Twitter that I could have chosen from. Unfortunately, when I was trying to protect the innocent and black out the names, I found out that they were all over the place. As you can see here, their name is constant. So again, you just want to have a branded background. The default is those, you know, Twitter clouds. So update that, have your brand, have your logo there. Make sure that your logo is resized so that you're getting the maximum exposure on it. And then you can even see, you know, those top 3 tweets. Those are all within one day, and obviously links are being included to parts of their website or their blog. So take a look at that, update it, and you'll find that Twitter will quickly move to the first page on Google. So Pinterest, this is something that maybe a lot of you on the call have no idea what I'm talking about, and that could be primarily because Pinterest, their audience is largely women, which is also perfect for dealers because we know that women are the decision makers for cars and most anything in life, really. So, so Pinterest is the fastest growing social media platform that's out there, and in my mind, it's one of the easiest in terms of content. Unlike a blog or Facebook or Twitter, where you have to write something and possibly spell check and do all of those other things make sure that it's engaging. Pinterest is all about graphics and videos, so it's very easy to grow the content of this. So the first thing that you would want to do, again, is pick that username that works and is in line with your other social media channels, and then you want to verify your website. Pinterest came out with business pages a few months ago. If you already had a Pinterest account and it was set up as just a person, it's very easy to go in and update it for the new business account, but part of that is the verification of your website. You're going to want to optimize your About section. You have 200 characters there, so certainly include your complete URL and put in those main keywords that you're paying a lot of money for on SEM and with Google. And then freshness and frequency, you've heard me say that a lot, but you really want to keep your content fresh. So this isn't a set it and forget it platform, unlike some of the other channels that we just talked about where there is a date and time stamp. This doesn't have that, but if you're not going back in and repinning and adding new content, you're really not going to get that Google juice. And use hashtags. It's just like Twitter, Google+, or Instagram, where these hashtags will help you anchor your pin to a particular subject and make it easy to find and to discover. So include those in your descriptions. And then, of course, backlinks. You know, those obviously form the core of any SEO campaign, so it's important that you use your URL in those descriptions of the images. And when you're writing your descriptions, make sure, again, that they're keyword rich. These can even be the long tail keywords. And ideally, they should personalize the pin so that they're catering to either a specific product, a place, person, or geography. And another thing that, you know, it's kind of like a bonus tip is with Pinterest and how often people are using it, it's more important than ever to make sure that the pictures on your website have good alt text so that if someone is on your website and pins an image from there, the description will automatically include that alt tag. So hopefully it's going to be your name and your keywords. So be mindful of that as you're adding images to your website or blog or newsletter. And then this is really an example, again, of maybe, you know, what not to do. If this looks familiar to you and you're on the call, give me a call after and I'll help you and walk you through it. But the whole idea with Pinterest, again, is going to be that it's keyword rich and that it's driving your brand. So I don't know that Laugh for Days, Exciting Adventure, Make It Festive, and Visual Inspiration are doing much for the dealership. What I would rather see is something where we've got every single model listed out that has their own board, that we have our videos from YouTube that we've pinned to our board about our dealership, that we're putting specials in there, and that when we actually click on the Toyota Avalon board, we get a description. You'll see that up at the top below the Toyota Avalon, where it's talking about not only their market, but their competing markets. And then it has that deep link into their website so that you can actually see the Avalon inventory that they have in stock, and that we've updated all of the descriptions so that they also include, you know, rich with keywords and links back to the site. And a few weeks ago, I was seeing Pinterest get first page placement on a lot of my dealership sites. It's since moved to, you know, the top of the second page. But what I would say is, you know, I was really surprised when I did a Google search for celebs in their Cadillacs looking for images that I wanted to pin to a board, and lo and behold, one of our boards was the first Google result. So that was pretty exciting. I think that kind of drives the point home that this isn't just about your local market. It can even be national, you know, as this was done in Kentucky, and this dealership is based out of Daytona Beach. So now that we have all of these social media channels that are being updated and they're optimized, how do we put it all together? And I would say just start from the very beginning. See all of the digital assets that you have and make sure that there's a way to share the information. So if it is a blog and you're using WordPress, add the plugin where somebody can share it, can tweet it, can circle it, or can pin the image. If you're on Facebook, there's so many of these free apps that you can install. So chances are if somebody likes you on Facebook, they'll want to circle you, they'll want to pin you, they want to read your tweets. Have the YouTube, again, great reciprocal links there as well. Make everybody know that you're social, that your dealership is social. And last but not least, not only is the SEO that we talked about great for off-site SEO, but it's really important on your own website. If any of you are using HubSpot or go to Marketing Grader to get your SEO score, you know that they rely heavily and they weight heavily on whether or not you have social media in place. So this, of course, is a screenshot of a dealership who has the ActiveEngage social media toolbar. Most websites, most web providers have something like this where you can add in all of your social media platforms. But if they don't, I would encourage you to actually visit this URL, and it gives you a toolbar that's essentially just like ActiveEngage for free. You can change the color, you can add your social media networks. This is something that's even really good to do to your blogs or any of those microsites that you have. So check that out as well. And so hopefully you guys aren't just rattled by some of the things that I've said, but that you really can walk away from this with a real strategy in place. And those things, in my mind, are really to be consistent when you're choosing these usernames. Don't have one say Toyota of Plano and the other one be Toy of Plano and the third one be Toyota of Plano 1. Try to be as consistent as possible and have that name match as closely to your URL as possible. Use keywords and provide links to your website in all of your account descriptions. Again, this isn't maybe the time to talk about family owned and operated, and more of a focus on what your models are, what the geography is that you're in and going after as well. And then we want to brand your store and your messaging. So don't leave the default background on there. Don't have an image that's hard to read. Change your profile picture so that it's your logo and that you're getting that brand recognition on a daily basis. And then be inclusive. If you're social, let's do the very thing that social is, right? Let's talk about it. Let's put it on our newsletter. Let's put it on our website. Have it on our blog. Put it everywhere that you have that digital real estate. And then last but not least, don't be afraid to get started. I guess aside from being a don't on a Dealer On webinar, the reality is not a lot of people know what they should be doing, and there's certainly a lot of resources out there that can help you along the way. If you have questions, you can go to the digital dealers, you can contact me. There's a lot of resources out there. I mean, true to these polls, people, 14% I think it was, are out there and they're doing it in-house and they're killing it. So if you're at that 20 group meeting and somebody's doing a great job, pull them aside and ask for a little bit of help. And I think that kind of concludes what I had, Eliana.
Oh, Kate, that was fantastic. Oh my gosh, I have so many questions for you, but we have some great questions from our audience too. And certainly, audience, I know you've heard a lot of information from Kate today, and I'm sure you guys have questions. So if you do, write them on in. We already have a bunch of them that are in the queue waiting to go. Before we get to your questions, though, we're going to have a little bit of fun and give away a prize. So it is that time. If you missed it, at the beginning of the webinar, I announced that our good friends at Kate Frost Inc. are giving away to one very lucky attendee a great prize for your dealership, a professional redesign of all of your social media channels. So cool. This incredible service is going to include a custom YouTube and Twitter background, a Google Plus cover photo, a Facebook cover photo, and one HTML landing page on Facebook that can include video. This prize is valued at $500. All you have to do is answer a simple question about the presentation that you just saw. So get ready and get in front of your keyboard. Get ready, because the first one to write in the correct response is going to be walking away with this awesome prize today. So I want to wish everyone good luck. Yes, the webinar is being recorded. Yes, you have to have the correct response. I can't just pick you. You have to write in the correct response. You have to be the first one to write in, okay? So get ready. Get your fingers all nimble and stuff. Here comes the question. Good luck, everyone. Are you ready, Kate?
Drum roll, please.
Okay, here we go. Question is, earlier in the presentation, Kate showed you an example of Toyota of Plano's Facebook ad campaign. What did they want to promote? First person to write in the correct response wins. Toyota of Plano's Facebook ad campaign. What did they want to promote? First person who wrote in had the correct response. I am so very happy. Actually, a lot of you had the right response. Good job, everyone. I love when people pay attention. So the first person to have the correct response is Britt Jordan, and the correct response was Truck Month. Congratulations, Britt Jordan. Very happy for you and your dealership. Write on in and let us know what dealership you are from. And he already wrote in, yay, thanks. And by the way, I want to thank everyone for participating in this really cool giveaway. Kate, thank you so much. Of course, we want to say congratulations to Britt Jordan from Paul Miller Ford in Lexington, Kentucky. And
wonderful.
We want to, of course, thank Kate Frost Inc. for their great generosity. So thank you so much. Britt, someone from Kate Frost Inc. is going to be in touch with you very shortly about that, okay? So let's get started with some of these awesome questions that we have. Kate, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's get to that cute little picture with your mugshot on it.
Oh, okay, perfect. Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, first question comes to you from Joe. Joe's not pulling any punches. He's like, no, really, what are your thoughts on Facebook promoted posts? So, what do we have to tell Joe about the Facebook promoted posts? You like them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they're really great when you're talking about, you know, an event that you want to promote, or maybe you have a video or a blog that you'd like to get more exposure. Even if you have a link similar to that Get Pre-Approved, to put that on there and then, you know, promote it. They have it as little as $5 so that you're reaching a bigger audience than you normally would. And it's definitely money well spent. I've used them a bunch and great results.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Great question, Joe. I want to get to this question, too. This one came from Andrew. It came actually early on. Andrew wrote in the question when you had the example of the Facebook page that said get approved in seconds, and you know, you talked about the credit app. So Andrew's question was, is that call to action on that slide on that Facebook page, is that compliant with Facebook?
I know that they've done a, you can't have text that's beyond 20%, I think, of your overall image, and I think that it was up for 30 days. I would have to go in and look a little bit more, but what I would tell you is it didn't get removed, it didn't get taken down, and they did have 160. So you can certainly look at those rules and regulations on Facebook, do a little bit of that. I know that some people have said they've gotten a little more strict. I work with, you know, dealerships across the country and haven't run into any of those. I think they're a little more strict when it comes to contests and those types of things, but certainly something to be mindful of, yeah.
Yeah, and Andrew already wrote in and he said, cool, thanks. So great question, Andrew. Appreciate it. Okay, okay, we had somebody who wrote in earlier about this. His name was Nick from Beach Automotive. And Richard wrote in with the same thing. He said, Facebook shows up in the Google search. If he searches Alliance space Nissan, but when he searches Alliance Nissan with no space, he gets Facebook and Twitter. Is that because of how the Twitter account was created? So do you have any advice for Richard and Nick and everyone else who's getting different results on their searches because of a space?
I think that can be specific to how a dealership set up their profile. So on both of those, Nick, and I'm sorry, I forgot the other gentleman's name.
Richard.
Send me an email, and I'm happy to take a look at that and offer some advice. I know that sometimes when there are dashes between the name, they actually don't get as great search results. So let's take a look at how you're set up, and we can dig into that a little bit more.
Richard and Nick, if you want to get in touch with Kate Frost, all of her stuff. Oh, Nick's already like, I'm on it, so he's going to be contacting you.
Okay.
Okay, great. Let me see. Rocky wrote in. He says, great tips. I have 4 new things to implement. Rocky, awesome news. Much luck and success to you.
Rocky.
Okay, next question comes to us from Lisa. And I don't know if we have enough time to cover this, but her question is, how do you create a Facebook landing page? Is that something you could answer now, Kate?
Sure. Yeah, and we can certainly go offline with it too, but essentially what you're looking for is, again, HTML code, and if you don't have somebody within your dealership that's doing that, you can even reach out to maybe some of your vendor partners, people who are creating your email blast campaigns, something like that, and then you would, essentially right-click, get the page source, copy that HTML, and when you're in Facebook, as long as you're an administrator of the page, you can actually type in the word static HTML, and it's a free app. You would add that page to your account, and then you can go in, edit, and paste that code, and voila, you have a landing page. It also gives you the option to change that page title and add in some of those custom tabs that you saw early on. So if you have questions about that, again, I'm happy to talk with you. I've got those instructions printed out, and I can email them to you as well.
Lisa, I don't know about you, but she made it sound a lot easier than it probably is. So she already wrote in thanks. So Lisa, good luck with that. Okay, next question. This is a good question from Ignacio. And Ignacio wrote in, does linking your Facebook page with your Twitter improve SEO?
I don't know that I could specifically say that it does, except for the fact that it would increase your frequency. And I know that a lot of people are more comfortable on Facebook than they are on Twitter. So I know that we certainly set that up because at the very least, you're at least going to have one new tweet out there a day. And to link those two together, all you have to do is go to facebook.com/Twitter, and then you would type in your Twitter username and password so that every time you do a Facebook post, it's also delivered as a tweet. Again, to be mindful, obviously Twitter has that 140 characters, so some of those Facebook status updates could be cut off, but not a bad practice to do.
Great question, Ignacio. And I actually know an Ignacio. Do people call you Iggy? Just wondering. And Kate, I know you only have one child, but if you could pick from all of the social media that's out there, is there one that's your favorite? It's like picking your favorite child, right?
Right, exactly. I think, like, personally, I spend so much time on Pinterest because I love to shop and all of that stuff. But Facebook for a dealership is by far, I think, where you have the most opportunity because they've got such a robust advertising tool, and with 1 billion people who are on Facebook and half of them logging in every day, you've got such a huge audience. So I would say that for a dealership, if you had to focus on one, I would focus on Facebook.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there you have it. Okay, next question comes to us from Gary. And since we're talking about Twitter, this is perfect timing. He says, how do I learn more about using hashtags?
I'm sure that there's of course, when all else fails, GTS, go to Google and type that in, and there's tons of information on it. But what you really need to know about hashtags are, it's a way to categorize, so that, I'm sure that you guys have been watching TV, and up in the right-hand corner you see this hashtag. That gives you the ability within Twitter to type that in and see what everybody in the Twitter universe is saying about that TV show live while you're watching it. So if you think of it in those terms, if you're a Toyota dealership, hashtag Toyota, do the hashtags on your specific models. See which ones are being used, what people are talking about. And there's some great listening software out there as well that's free for Twitter, that you can go and see what people in your area are saying, and a great way to kind of filter through all of that is to type in hashtags. You can also create your own hashtags for your dealership.
Now that's fun. But then you have to be able to get other people to talk about it. Gary, great question. Thank you so much. I wish you lots of hashtags in the near future, my friend. Okay, let's get to this next one. Leslie wrote in, what kinds of things would you pin on your board? I'm assuming she's saying, if you were me and you work at a dealership, what kinds of things would you pin on your board?
Absolutely. So, I would definitely have a board that's all about your dealership. Name it your dealership's name. Have images from your website. Pin those videos that are on your YouTube channel. And then once we go from there, have another board that's all about the awards that your brand has won, whether it's from KBB or Edmunds. Break out every single model that you have into different boards. I think that there's a lot of fun things you can do in addition to that, depending on your brand. Cadillac is one of those brands that's been around for so long, and we've done everything from like Mary Kay and the pink Cadillac to Elvis loves Cadillacs, and vintage advertising that's out there specific to your brand. VW is another manufacturer that's just so rich with content, again, breaking it down by things that are kids' toys. And if you do a search on Pinterest just for your brand, you can kind of see what's out there, and it's a great source to just start repinning.
Now, I have a follow-up question for you.
Yeah.
Would you also pin photos of stuff that's happening at the dealership? Like if you had a tent sale, if you had a good customer who came in, and bought his daughter who's going away to college car, or
Yes, I think the answer is yes to all of those things. Again, keeping it fresh, having that frequency, having those pins from reciprocal sites. That's great. Pinterest is also a great source for content on Facebook. I know that Thursday in the Twitter world and Facebook, the hashtag, speaking of hashtags, is Throwback Thursday. And from there, you can get off of Pinterest tons of great images that you can include on your Facebook posts. So use that as a source, too, for trying to come up with some of that content, which I know it can be tough when it's every single day you're trying to come up with something totally engaging. But you guys all know from experience, too, just whether it's personal or for the dealership, everybody loves photos. It certainly gets a strong reaction. That's where we see the most engagement. So it's not always about that witty retort or whatever you're saying on there. A picture says 1,000 words. So use Pinterest as a source for even your Facebook status updates.
Sticking with Pinterest, Lisa just wrote in, recipes are so popular with women, and Pinterest is popular with women. So would that be a good board?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's a fun board. I don't know that that's going to give you, again, that SEO juice that we're talking about, but it's definitely one that you can have and have fun with Pinterest. But make sure that you have the foundation there, which is your models, some of those that are keyword rich as well. And I really like that the people asking questions on Pinterest are women.
All right, well, Leslie, Lisa, great comments, great questions. Thank you so much for that. Let's get to this next question from David. He says, how do you get the free apps for Facebook?
A great place to start, and one that I use a lot, is if you go to, it's actually involver.com, INVOLVER.com. Click on their apps. They're free. You can add all of those right from that page, or if you even wanted, if you can't remember that, you could go to Toyota of Plano's Facebook page and click on one of those tabs, and at the very bottom it would show you where that app came from, and you can, it's a hyperlink that would take you directly there. So there's some other really good apps. If you guys are on Instagram, that's a great one to include as well. They're all free applications. It's really when you get into contests that you're having to pay a premium.
Gotcha, gotcha. David, great question. Thank you so much for that one. Another great question comes to us from Mike, and I have heard a lot of dealerships go back and forth on this. So we'd like your professional opinion on this, Kate. Mike asks, would you discourage social media links on your dealership website that would take the customer away from your site?
I think that is a great question, and I know that I've heard that over and over again. And certainly if somebody's on your website, that's ultimately where we want them to be, right? We don't want to take away from that lead so that they like our page. So I think that those social media toolbars are great because it keeps you on the site. It's just a slide up. It's not a direct link that opens up a new window and takes you off. But you should have links to your social media on your website, again, just for SEO purposes. If none of you have been there before, I would encourage you to type in the URL marketing.grader, GRADER.com, and that's with no WW. It's a free tool that you can plug in your website, your competitor's website, and it's going to give you your SEO score. And this is all from HubSpot, which is a great service. They're out of Boston. They're really the authorities on SEO. And it's nice because I think dealers kind of have this idea of SEO. A lot of people selling snake oil. It's hard to really judge, are you improving? But this gives you an actual grade on out of 100 of how your site's doing, and then it'll give you tips how you can improve your site. And they rely heavily on some of these social media. So you'll see that your score instantly goes up when you attach a blog or Facebook or Twitter or some of those other things.
Now, I love HubSpot, but we actually had some people who wrote in, what was the name of that again? Is it websitegrader.com?
It's marketing. So marketing.grader.com. And you don't need to type in the www.
Okay, I'll tell you what, everyone is asking. So hold on one second. I'm going to type it in to the chat feature so everyone has it. So it is marketing.grader.com. Okay, send to all. So hopefully you all got that in the chat feature. All right, thank you so much.
And just as a follow-up to that, if I were sitting in your shoes and I was looking at that for the very first time, I would encourage you to take, a screenshot of it and have it kind of as your benchmark so that you can go back in 30 days and see how you've grown that number.
Okay.
Sometimes we forget where we came from.
All right, great question. Thank you so much. And like I said, a lot of dealerships have that same concern.
Absolutely.
But I do like the toolbar where it just pops up the little window. It doesn't take them off the site, so I agree with you, Kate, on that one. Okay, great question comes to us from Lisa. Lisa has all the good questions today. She said, how do you get your blog on page 1 of Google search? Magic bullet?
That's a great question, and I didn't get into blogs here, but I think that It's one of the fastest ways to get on the first page. If you even do a search for Toyota of Plano, we've only been working with them for 60 days. It was a brand new URL, and I think it's the second link that's delivered. And so what I would encourage you to do is if your website provider doesn't have a blog feature, go to GoDaddy or whoever you're buying domains from, and buy a domain that closely mirrors what yours currently is. So, for example, Toyota of Plano's blog is toyotaofplano.net. Set it up as a hosted WordPress account, and then we blog on a weekly basis. I know that everybody says, oh, you should be blogging daily. I don't really know who has time for that, but it seems to be that even if you're doing it once a week, it's going to quickly move up. So make sure that once that blog is set up, that you have a link to it off of your website as well.
Lisa, good luck with that, and I'm so glad you're getting into the blogosphere. That's awesome. So good luck. Okay, next question comes to us from Ignacio again. Iggy asks, what are the best hours to make social media posts to have better engagement or response? Jeez, Ignacio, they have tough questions for you today, Kate.
That's a great question.
It's a great question.
And it's actually one that's pretty easy to answer, because I think that the answer is going to change based on your store and your market. But Facebook has, of course, analytics that show you the level of engagement from all of your posts. So I would take a look at that. It's going to give you the timestamp too, and start really seeing, are people responding in the morning when they're getting up? Is it after work? Is it at lunchtime? So that you can determine those. Those are typically the 3 times when people are checking Facebook, but to really drill down, I would get into your Facebook analytics.
Ignacio, hope that helps you out. And you know what? We only have a couple more really great questions I want to get to. So stick with us, because I know there's still a lot of you on the call. Annie's question to you, Kate, is how do we connect our Willie Ford Lincoln Instagram to our Willie Ford Lincoln Facebook page? Is there an easy way to do that?
Yes, there's actually there's an app for that.
Get out! There's an app for everything.
And if we have her contact information, I don't remember the name of it right off the top of my head, but I'll certainly send her a link. Or for anybody else that's on the call, if you actually go to Capo VW, which is short for Capistrano VW, so I think it's facebook.com/Capo VW. They have a tab for their Instagram account, and again, you would just click on that, scroll to the bottom, and it's going to, I think it's called like Instagraphic. If you click on that, it'll give you, just the windows to set up the install.
Gotcha. Or Annie or anyone else on the call, just email Kate and she'll tell you what it is. When she has those notes in front of her, okay? So that's Kate at katefrostinc.com. Okay, next question comes to us from Nicole. She says, if you are a dual dealership, do you suggest having separate pages for each on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, etc.? Boy, this is something I have heard a lot from dealerships. Kate, what do you recommend?
So, in a perfect world, I would say yes. Everybody has a separate account because probably there's separate messaging, there's a separate audience. It's easier to do coupons. You can have a more specific conversation. And, of course, that's additional Google juice. You're taking up more real estate. Instead of having one Facebook URL, now you have 2. Instead of having one Twitter, you have 2. But all of that requires time and effort. And so if you're already stretched thin, I think the only thing worse is then when you have these pages that sit out there and, they languish and no one's updated them and there is no love. So, I think it depends on the dealership. That example we showed earlier of All-Star Automotive, they have 14 rooftops. They started off with one group page, and now over time, since they've had, I think, 17,000 likes, they've broken off and they've given, Toyota and Kia separate pages. But, if you already have a large audience and somebody that, a big group that you're communicating with, it could be okay to keep it as one.
Phew, I can't even imagine. I guess I could imagine, because believe it or not, I ran into somebody who had a dealership, and it was like two cars that you would never think would go together. Like, I forget what they were, but it was like Mini Cooper and Jaguar or something like that.
Right.
It's just totally two separate things you would never put together. It's not like a CDJ, or anything like that.
Yeah.
So when you have something that's so dissimilar, I can see why people would want to separate them. And
Right, because if I'm a Mini Cooper driver, I don't really want to hear about the new XJ that just came out. It's a little bit out of my price range.
I know.
I'm just depressed every time I log into Facebook.
So, Nicole, wish you the best of luck. Certainly, if you need some more follow-up help, Kate Frost is always here to help. And Kate, awesome presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was worth the wait, but I am not going to let you go. I would love to see you back on our show sometime soon to talk some more. Maybe we'll do one on Twitter or something like that. It'd be great if you could come back and talk some more social media with us.
I'd love to.
Really appreciate it.
You.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And, hey, I'm going to see you soon, so I'll just have to twist your arm in person.
Exactly. Fair enough.
So, thank you so much. Any questions that weren't answered during the time allotted, they're going to be answered by email later today. Of course, I want to remind the audience that a link to download a copy of this webinar recording is also going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. And today's webinar is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. Just go to dealeruN.com/webinars and click on the on-demand webinar link, or view our upcoming webinar schedule, or access any of our past webinars too. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey. Please fill it out. We're looking for great feedback from you, our valued audience. Let Kate know what an awesome job she did today, and we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. So if you want to be considered for that, it's a very short survey. We really appreciate it. Now, DealerUn is going to be at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Orlando. So if you're going to be there, well, we want to see you. Come visit us at booth 407, Digital Dealer Conference and Expo. Great conference. So if you've never been there, please come join us. It's May 7, 8, and 9 at the Rosen Shingle Creek in Orlando. And I'm going to be there, and I'd love to meet you. And you know what else? I'm going to be broadcasting a webinar live from the Digital Dealer Convention booth, right from the exhibit hall floor. You do not want to miss that. I'm going to be broadcasting with none other than Grant Cardone. Oh yeah, it's going to be a fun time. More details will be coming at you soon. But if you can't make it out to Orlando, well then I hope to see you all on our webinar on May 9th. And yeah, Kate Frost is going to be there too. She's going to be at the Digital Dealer Conference and Expo, and she's going to be speaking about the important steps needed to build a successful internet department, and one that's going to maximize your ROI and help you sell lots and lots of cars. So give your internet department everything it needs to succeed, and check out Kate Frost at the Digital Dealer Convention. You don't want to miss that awesome presentation. Hope we see you there. And invitations are going to be going out tomorrow for our next webinar. Supercharge your BDC, strategies to increase lead conversion and profits, with none other than Corey Mosley. Oh yeah, that's right. I got you Kate Frost, got you Grant Cardone, now I got you Corey Mosley. I bring you all the biggest and best thought leaders in the industry, so don't you forget it. So supercharge your BDC, strategies to increase lead conversion and profits. If you're ready to finally supercharge your BDC, then this is one webinar you simply can't miss. It's going to be another fabulous presentation by your friends at DealerUn. And don't forget, DealerUn's weekly webinars are held every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And we have so many great webinar subjects planned for this year. But if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars or our topics, hey, contact me directly. I love hearing from you. Reach me at Eliana@DealerUn.com, or find me on any of the automotive social networks. I'm on all of them. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and we hope to see you all on a future webinar in our continuing education series. Have yourselves a good one.